Please click like and subscribe and that little notification bell for the next episode. Finishing off here
in Cuba. We're seeing the last of the murals. Beautiful town for murals.
We're in Cuba right now, and we're for all these beautiful murals. This is Mural City. Jill is going to give us a tour. And so, Jill.
Welcome to the Route 66 Mural City.
Oh, thank you.
Well, this is where it all began. A Canadian artist named Michelle Lockery came down to Cuba in 2001. 8 days later, we had this mural. It depicts A.J. Barnett, who was the cashier and the president of People's Bank for 39 years. The building that is shown still exists, one block right along Route 66.
So they had all different murals depicting their history.
This mural was painted in commemoration of Al West, who was mayor from 1946 to 1958, and he was known as the father of modern Cuba.
The murals, they have such great detail.
Originally, it was a Leno gas station. I think it was in the 1840s, and it's had numerous different items on it. Dog grooming, detail shop, and I have set up the upholstery shop, and it's just perfect for it. But I love that it's a historical building.
The artists from Canada came back to do the second mural. The Gold Star Boys, the 6 young men that you see in the mural, are the ones that lost their lives in World War II. The Bluebonnet was actually named after the Bluebonnet from Texas and was a part of the train that whisked the boys away to war. Wilbur Vaughn remembers when they took his younger brother Floyd to the train and saw him go away to the war.
They're very much into the technology of making a mural.
In 1928, Amelia Earhart had a crash landing in a field near Cuba, Missouri. This was done by 2 local artists from Cuba, and it shows Amelia with her Avro airplane, and it shows a copy of the newspaper.
It's a town of murals.
Right.
What was it, 30, 40?
At one time in the 60s, Bob Bass owned 6 canoes, and he went to St. Louis selling firewood, and he said he visited all these bars and apartment complexes, wherever young people were, and he said, for 20 bucks a head, you can come out, I'll roast a hog, and you can float all day. The little baby is their father, Bear. The mother in the picture is actually my mother-in-law, which is always a little interesting twist.
Cuba, which, by the way, is one of the capitals for murals.
Our 10th mural shows the Confederate General Sterling Price, the Union General Thomas Ewing. The Confederates were to code to St. Louis from Arkansas, but they were so tempted by all the arms and ammunition that were at Fort Davison, they stopped at Pilot Knob. 6,000 Confederate soldiers to the 1,500 Union soldiers. In this first panel, you will see a hand grenade being thrown. The artist Don Gray came from California. The second panel shows the blowing up of the fort so that they would not be able to come in and take all the ammunition and weapons. If you'll notice at the very top, there's an American flag lighting up the sky. The retreat was on for Ewing and his forces, so they left and the chase was on. They went 66 miles in 39 hours. And one of the battles occurred at the Battle of Huza, which is a river south of Cuba. And at one point, one of the soldiers was heard saying, I can walk across and drink the water as the bullets fall around me like raindrops. This panel shows what happened in Cuba on September 29, 1864. The idea for Ewing and his troops was to ultimately get to Rolla, where there was fresh supplies and more Union troops. However, they were told that at Cuba they had blown up the tracks to prevent them from going through. This panel represents the rescue at Leesburg. They were trying to board the train to go to Rolla. They couldn't, so they knew that they were going to just have to have a standoff. They burned barns so that they wouldn't be attacked in the dead of night and so they could see their enemy. They were rescued by the Union soldiers from Rolla, and they came back and there was much rejoicing, and it was said that they sang Johnny Round the Flag, and the young man with the red band around his hat is Chip Lang. The artist, Don Gray, painted him in the mural in recognition for all of his help.
And they had a little bit about their businesses on the mural.
This mural is on a shoe store. In the early 1900s, there was a business called Prosperity Corner on this very site. It was owned by H Tiemann. Mr. Tiemann is shown with the white beard. He had a prosperous business. He also had a canning business in Cuba, but he also had a dark side to him. He actually faked his death. He went to Joplin to sell canned goods, and he never returned to Cuba. They thought that it was foul play and that something awful had happened to him. But one day, the newspaper got a letter, and it looked like his handwriting. A banker from the Bank of Cuba went to Shreveport, Louisiana, looking for him. He asked around, and somebody said, well, that looks like the man who sold me my newspaper every morning. So indeed, when he went to find him, he was there, and he said that he had fallen into a hard time, and he just was not going back. Eventually, he did come back because he is buried in the cemetery in Cuba.